Okay, so we're gonna start from where, so first of all, I want to correct myself. Oh, I love the background. I want to correct myself. Last time I said that Elul is the element of air. I got confused because we have such a big ability in Elul for thinking and thinking deeply, but really it's not air, it's earth. So just wanted to the element of the month. So I just wanted to correct that. Um, and I also wanted to talk a little bit more about today about because we talked a little bit about being humble and humility that came up, and I feel like there could be misunderstandings with what humble means, and maybe we could learn that more from what it really means to be humble from the Tam. Just looking for my notebook. Where? Oh, here it is. So, okay, so I'm going to say the story now in very, very short. There was two friends, the Chacham and the Tam, and they both were really good friends. And when they grew up, the Tam was a shoemaker, and the Chacham went to study different arts in the world and became a big doctor and artist. And he was always feeling miserable because he was always working out of a place of judgment and fear and how he looks, and and he was just miserable all the time and out of a place of needing to be perfect all the time. So if someone didn't like his work, he was miserable, and if he himself saw a mistake in his work, he was miserable. And meanwhile, the Tam was very, very happy with everything that he had, and he didn't have much. And and one day, the king, who saw a weird phenomenon of two men being called, one the Chacham and one the Tam, he said, "I have to call these people. I'm curious to see who these people who don't even have names. Let me see who these people are." And when he met the Tam, he really liked him. He made him a king, a governor over a lot of different places. And he kept going up after he met him again. And he saw that he started also not only being simple, right? Tam, simple, but also he became very smart, and and he became a big governor and had a big palace and lived in a beautiful place. Meanwhile, the Chacham, where we got up to, is that when he got called to the king, he said, "Is there a king? I don't know if there is a king. Let's first talk about that, if there is a king." And then he's like, "You know what? I don't think there is a king." From all of his smartness, he decided that there is no king. And him and the person, the Chacham, that came from the king to send the note of come to the king. So they both started touring the world, wanting to show everyone the truth, that there is no king, because in their mind, everyone is stupid and living in a mistake, and they want to show everyone that there is no king, and everyone is living a lie. And they toured the world, and slowly they lost all their money, right? Kefirim rashu v'ra'evu. It says in Birkat Hamazon, Kefirim rashu v'ra'evu. Like the people who don't believe, at the end they lose everything. V'dorshei Hashem lo yachseru chol tov. And at the end of the day, whoever wants Hashem, whoever believes in Hashem, at the end of the day doesn't lack anything. As we see the simple, even in the days that he didn't have nothing, he didn't lack nothing. And so the Chacham and his man, they lost all their money until they got to a place where they were even, like no one noticed them anymore. They were these two little homeless guys. And they came to a town where they saw a lot of people outside of a Baal Shem, which they thought was a doctor. And because they saw a lot of sick people outside his house, so they said, so the doctor wanted to show his knowledge. He said, "Let me talk to him," and then they said, "No, he's not a doctor. He's a Baal Shem." A Baal Shem, which means like a tzaddik that does all kinds of nisim with shemot Hashem, with Kabbalah, um, and um, and it says like this man used to do muftim and niflaim, right? Like the Baal Shem Tov, and even the Baal Shem Tov, right, was known in the Goim, and even the Baal Shem Tov was respected. And he's showing us that most people, even not Jewish people, believe in tzaddikim and and respect them. So that's what we're up to, where they're laughing. Baal Shem, that is hilarious. That is even more hilarious than the lie that there is a king. Heebie jeebie, what the. I'm a doctor, I am an artist, I know best. And yeah, this is all so funny. Everyone is so living in a lie, living in a dream. And this is even more shtuyot than the shtuyot that there is a king. And then they said, we're hungry, let's go eat. But he said, Al hasheker hazeh nashuv v'nedaber, like, because there's a lot to talk about this lie that there is a Baal Shem. Like, we'll continue to talk about this. Like, this is a funny lie. So as we continue the story, I want you to listen to yourself. What's coming up for you? And I know myself, like sometimes when I listen to speeches or whatever, all of a sudden I don't even know what she said, and I don't even know what she's about to say, but like all of a sudden I have chills in my body, or all of a sudden I want to cry. And a good student, like my teacher says, Orit Lazerson, she says, a good student doesn't listen to the teacher, she listens to herself. So what am I saying in this story, and what is this story bringing up for you? And then, trusting that and seeing the beauty of it. Like David HaMelech said, Megillat Sefer Katuv Alai. This Sefer that I'm gonna read, Katuv Alai, where am I in this Sefer? Where do I become better? Where is it talking about me? So before we continue, I want to just focus on the anava, like we said. Being humble, real humble, being really humble. I remember my brother told me a story. I was little. He told me, not a story, he asked me. He said, if you meet a big tzaddik and he tells you, to get to my level, you could get in a second. Like, no, I'm a nothing. You could get to my level, right? So he said, who do you think is more humble? This guy who said that, or this guy who says, it's gonna be really hard for you to get to my level? And of course, right away you think the first guy, right? The first tzaddik. And he said, no, not the first one, the second one, because the first one, a little bit, he's like showing off how humble he is, one, and two, he doesn't see the greatness. That's a problem. When you don't see your greatness, then you end up stealing it in different places, like from your husband, showing him how great you are, and it turns out in your ego, because then you have to show, because you don't know how great you are. So it took me a very long time to understand the depth of what he was saying. But I feel like now, I understand it better. So real humble is knowing your worth. And what does it mean, your worth? Your power is endless, right? Because you're a chelek Eloka, right? So I'm not, it's when you're placing your ga'ava, not on yourself, but on your essence, who Hashem made you. It's not coming from you, it's coming from Him. Everything is coming from him. You're amazing. Yes, I'm amazing because of him. Um, and and we see in the Tam how really he thinks highly of himself, right? Like and like he goes to greet his friend, right? When his friend comes back into town, right? When he was still very when he didn't have money, right? And he was living with one coat for him and his wife, and he had bread and water in his house and nothing else, and where he would make shoes that looked really ugly, and nothing is going right for him, and he is taking his jacket that is like really doesn't look nice, and he's going to greet his friend who became rich and famous and a doctor and respected. That's a person that feels really good about himself, right? Because it's like you're going to a class reunion, like you're probably not going to want to go if you're living like our simple man was living at this time before he became this big governor. Um, and in the depth, really, just so we're gonna say that the fact that he's a shoemaker, right? We're called ikvot de Mashiach, right? Akev, the heel. The heel of the foot is the less sensitive of our whole body, right? You can poke and 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 you don't feel it, right? And why it's the most furthest place from Hashem's light, right? Um, and So he's a shoemaker, and he's trying to make beautiful shoes, beautiful, which is in depth, mitzvot, right? Like clothes for the Shekhinah, and he understands that he is bringing up light from wherever he is, right? He's making the shoes and it's coming out really ugly. Like but you see his ratzon, his desire is so high, right? He worked hard. He learned this art, this job. When we read in the beginning, we said he learned for a very long time. He learned hard, he worked hard, he learned hard. And then it would come out looking ugly. And instead of two ends, there was three ends because somehow there was another end to it. And that's like him wanting to do more. I wanted to wake up at 5 a.m. and daven and learn and do this and do that. But at the end, I just woke up at 9 and I just said modani. And instead of saying, oh, like look at everyone else, they're praying, they're going to shul, they're dressing, their house looks beautiful for Shabbat, and mine is a mess every Shabbat. So instead of looking at them, right, when his wife tell them, so why do they sell their shoes for higher prices? And he said, because he said, I'm making money on my shoes. He started showing her, and he saw the money that he is making out of these shoes. And he said, and why for us to talk about other people? This is my maseh, and this is his maseh. Ze maseh shelo, veze maseh sheli. Velama lanu ledaber al acherim. Why should we talk about other people? This is my art. This is their art. Why should we talk about other people? And he looked at this shoe, right? He looked at this modani. Wow, I said modani today. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I said modani, and I even thought about the words when I said it. And that's him. You know, he wants. Give me meat, he tells her, right? What is meat? Meat is the depth of the Torah. And give me wine. Wine is the pshat of the Torah. He tells his wife, give me meat. And she gives him bread, right? He wants to lilmod Torah, but then he knows that the maaseh, the action, is not up to him. You don't have to finish the action, right? You're not in charge of everything. You wanted beautiful, you tried beautiful, but you're not in charge of the end of what happens of the action. And that's so nice to know, right? Like we said last time, wherever you didn't do, or wherever you keep not doing, don't hold the guilt, right? It's not you. It's his light that is not shining there, and you just ask for that light to shine there, Hashem's light. Um, and she gives him, right, a piece of bread. So in that piece of bread, which is the modani that you said, or the thought that you had, in that he felt that he was thankful for that. And I have so many things, I'm not sure where to start with. um, right? So his desire was always so high. But then at the end, he's just happy with what came out, with how things turned out, with wherever he is, and how happy a life can be where you're just happy where you are. Like, even if I stink from sewage, like, it's because I'm cleaning the pipes right now with sewage. So yeah, I'm gonna stink like sewage. I'm in a very low place right now. And from this low place, I'm gonna bring up light. Lehakim shchinta me'afra. In here, there's shchina that I need to bring up in this low place. I need to bring up. How am I gonna bring it up? With that yud that we said, with a little small step, right? The Yetzer Hara loves to tell us, it's too small, you can't do everything, so don't do nothing. The Yetzer Hara is also called Melech Zaken V'Chsil, a king, right? He puts you down, like you can't be something big, so don't do nothing. You can't be perfect, so don't do nothing. And more than the Yetzer Hara loves when you sin, he loves the guilt that you hold after, the sadness and the guilt. And that's a person who feels guilty, who's sad. That's who the Yetzer Hara falls in love with. He loves them. He loves them because it's so easy. It's so easy to come to someone who's false humility, who feels bad about themselves, who doesn't see how powerful they are, and from them to be like, you're not important. It's not worth it for you to do this. The story that happened now in Israel with in Tzomet Ramot, right? When the terrorists shot people. And you think about it, like, they had, from what I understand from the story, they had guns that were able to shoot a lot in a row. It's not regular, like, little guns, little handguns. I'm just seeing 1 second. Sorry, let me see if I can change something here. It's not that they, it was guns that, have a lot of ability to shoot a lot of bullets at a time. And then this guy who was a avrech, like a kollel guy, he started running away with everyone. And first of all, the fact that he had a gun was like amazing, because what kollel guy do you see holding a gun? Like, it's not, you don't see that. But that's also another thing. He got a gun. Why? Because he said, I need to protect myself, right? I need to see what I can do. If he thought of himself as a nothing, he wouldn't have gotten a gun. Me? I should get myself a gun? Why should I get myself a gun, right? But he got himself a gun because, no, I need to protect myself. I can, this is my part. I'm doing my part, and I I can protect myself, right? So just that fact alone. Then he had the gun, right? And first he was running away with everyone else, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, maybe I should actually turn back and get these guys, right?" And that's what he did. He turned right back around and he went on the bus to shoot them from the bus. And that takes a guy who believes in his power, right? In his power that he has. If he said, "Oh, let someone else could take care of it," right? It's so, "Oh, me, I could shoot him." No, I can't shoot him. And he ended up shooting them. And because of him, a bigger um, tragedy was, avoided. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Um,
Mm,
but
mm,
um, but the when the Yetzer Hara tells you like, "Oh, you're nothing, you anyway can't do this, you anyways," he could have told him, "You anyways are not going to the army, why should you get a gun?" Right? And he tries to catch you. You're anyways not going to be perfect, you're anyways not going to do whatever. So don't do anything. And also he's called zaken, old, right? So it's already, you're too old, you're
mm.
it's already, you're set in your ways, you're already who you are, it's too hard to change. um and then we have um Ksil, right? He's also called Ksil. um Ksil, like stupid, like he tells you like, "You don't understand. um you didn't really feel God right now. Like what you felt right now, that wasn't God. No, you're just imagining things.
Mm.
Um, you're not, you're just, um, you're not so important to feel God, to talk." And also he's stupid because he we can trick him so easily. Like if we can find tricks to trick him, right? Because he wants things now. He's smart, he wants things now. But if you tell him, maybe later, then he's like, "Okay, fine." uh, yeah, okay, fine, right? um so so we were saying, right, that the he doesn't, the tam in our story, the simple, he doesn't hold any guilt. And that's why the Yetzer Hara is not close to him, right? He keeps feeling good with what he does, feeling good about himself, and out of that place he gets to become a king, right? What's the king? The king teaches him the secrets of the Torah, and he becomes in like a big tzaddik of the whole generation in a second, right? First he's working, he still looks like this, he's still not able to, but he's still happy because that's where he is. I heard a beautiful story today. I forgot which Admol says it, but it's by the Ari Kadosh. He said that it's like a mashal for a king who went for a walk, and there was like a bull. How do we say a bull? Like a hole in the ground, and it was like slanted. It was a slanted hole, but it was deep. And he had a bag of diamonds, and he passes by this bowl, this deep hole in the ground, and all of his diamonds spills inside. And some diamonds fall like a little bit higher, right? Because it's like a slant. Some fall a little higher, some fall lower, until the bottom of the hole there is diamonds, right? What diamonds fall to the bottom of the hole? The biggest diamonds. And so what the king does, he sends his servants to go get the diamonds. So he sends first the the servants who are, he leaves the strongest servants for the last, right? Because the get from the top, just because if you go all the way in till the end first, then everything else is going to fall down. So first he sends people to get from the top, then from the lower level, then from the lower level, and then he sends people all the way down to the bottom to get the diamonds that are there. And that's where we are. That's our generation in the whole, where the light can't be seen so much, where Hashem's light is far away. And that's where we're gonna take out these big diamonds. And this is what our Tam understands. He understands, I don't understand Torah yet. I don't pray yet. I pray like my prayer comes out like funny. I wake up late. I this, I that. But from this place, I'm doing what I can, and that's bringing up shchinta me'afra. That's bringing up diamonds to Hashem. So whatever I'm able to do, whatever I finish, I'm happy with. I don't want the Yetzer Hara to fall in love with me. I want him to stay far away from me, so I'll compliment myself a lot. And Rabbi Nachman says about himself, what does he say? ניצחתי ואנצח, גמרתי ואגמור. אני נהר המטהר מכל הכתמים. אני איש פלא ונשמתי פלא גדול. חידוש כמוני לא היה מעולם. Rabbi Nachman says about himself, he says, I won and I will win. I finished and I will finish. I'm a nahar, nahar, like a stream. I'm a stream of water that purifies everyone from their ktamim, from their dirt. I am a, how do we say, pele, a ish pele, greatness. Like I am greatness. Actually, I feel like there's a better word. Let me see, pele. I am amazing. What else? I am the definition: wonder, miracle, amazing, greatly. So I am amazing, and my soul is amazing, but it's even more than amazing. Pele, whoa! And my soul is pele gadol. My soul is really, really amazing. And chidush kamoni lo haya me'olam. Someone like me, but a chidush, like I'm something new. I'm a one of a kind. And someone like me, there won't be ever. And think about when you talk like that to yourself, right? That gives you responsibility and that gives you power, right? And when you talk, in a sense, it's very easy to be, oh yeah, I'm a nothing. I'll just stay at home. I'm a nothing. I don't have to do anything. Let them do it. Let them take care of it. And we see that the Chacham didn't think highly of himself, right? At the end of the day, like he was, I'm so smart, I'm a doctor, I'm an artist, I'm famous, I'm this, I know better. But at the end of the day, when the king calls him to talk to him, He doesn't even believe there is a king, because why would a king want to speak to me? Because he doesn't feel worthy. That's gava. That's gava. Um, and just there was a few stories I wanted to say, but I don't remember why. But we see also in the story, we see that the Tam, he looks at his friend the whole time from with a good eye,
Mm.
with the eye where he sees his inside. Like one of my teachers said, have a friend that is a yireh shamayim. What's yireh shamayim? That they see the shamayim within you. They see that endless, your higher self. They don't fall for your behaviors and for what you're doing now. They see you for much more than you are. And we see that the Tam, the simple, he always looks at the clever guy as more of he remembers the love that they had during when they were kids. He looks at his depth. He keeps trying to throw little words to help him be happy, to help him come back to himself, to his inner self, right? He sees the inside. And even the fact that he offered him to come live in his house when he was, before he was a governor, when he was a simple guy living his simple life, hardly have bread, water, and he saw his friends suffering in every hotel that he is because every hotel wasn't fancy enough for him. So he said, come live in my house and do whatever you want. First of all, that also shows us, how worth he think he is. Like, why would I want to live in your house, But he's like, no, come to my house. And secondly, it shows, I see there's something good in you. Come into my house. Let me help you. Maybe when you're close to my heart, maybe then you'll be able to come back to yourself. Maybe then you'll be able to see the good within yourself. Just there, we know the story of Rachel. Rachel, I don't know her last name, but that she had on October 7, she had terrorists in her house,
Mm.
and she told them, "Do you want cookies? Do you want to eat?"
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And she made them cookies and she made them food. And okay, so a person, so she, in order for her to be able to offer them stuff, what did she say? Why did she offer them things? Because she looked at them and she saw that they were hungry. She saw that they're on edge because they're hungry. The fact that she was able to see in these nothings, not animals, worse than animals, right? But she was able to see a human, no human, don't. But what I'm saying is, she was able to see the 0.0.0000000.1 part of the human inside of them that was hungry. I can't even say that because but she was able to see that. Isn't that crazy? She was
That's
able to
amazing.
see in these disgusting, despicable things that they're hungry. That's such a deep eye of seeing the good in someone. This is a very extreme example, but wow, right? And then she offers them cookies and she gives them cookies and she even sang to them in Arabic and she fed them and gave them drinks, and thank God they got shot. But the ability to see that, right? And we have also this another one who came back, who was a hostage, he said, when he came to the how do we say, cave where they put him in, and he saw a terrorist there, and he was tied up, and the terrorist, and right away the thought in his head was, let me connect to this person, no person. But that view of let me connect, right? That's a tmimut. That's so like simple, right? Because a smart guy who would be there, no, there is no one there. No one's home. Knock, knock. No one's home. No one's in this body. No. But he said to him, he started talking to him, and I don't know how they got to it, but the terrorist asked him if he knows this singer, and he said yes. And he said, you know, this and this song? And he said yes, and he started singing the song to him. He said, sing me the song. He started singing the song to him, and then he took off the handcuffs. At the end of before he got released, he was supposed to go to a cave instead of an apartment that he was in. And their commander told the guy who asked him to sing, he said to him, let me take him to that cave tonight. So he said, no, let him stay with me tonight. And because that cave ended up getting blown up that night, and he survived. This is just extreme examples of seeing the good in someone. Extreme. There is no good there, but an extreme example. Okay, let's continue the story. Okay, so then so they said about this Baal Shem, we'll continue to speak. We're gonna end in like 5 minutes. So they became hungry. Pishpeshu bekiseem. They were checking their pockets. Did they have any money? They found a few like agorot, like pennies, and they went to Bet Tavshil. Bet Tavshil is like a homeless shelter that gives you food, and they could buy food for a very low price. And while they were eating, they were talking and laughing about this Baal Shem. Shekol ha'olam to'im, the whole world is mistaken. And the Baal Habayit, the owner of the homeless shelter, he heard them laughing, and he said, he told them in anger. He said, who are you laughing at? The Baal Shem? If yes, finish your food and get out of here. And they didn't even finish to their food, and the son of the Baal Shem came in, and they kept laughing at his father in front of him, and laughing and making fun, sarcasm, right? So the owner of the homeless shelter got really angry, and he kicked them out of there, but he hit them and beat them up and sent them away. So I want to stop here and just talk about the sarcasm from Mesilat Yesharim, because this is mind-blowing, because we live in a world where sarcasm is a big part of our lives, and we don't understand the power of laughter, the beauty of laughter, but also on the other hand, the big danger that laughter has. And if you just break down the word tzchok, tzechok, law, out the door.
Oh, wow.
Tzechok, go out, law, no laws, right? Which is amazing, because that could laughter could make you could make the law not exist, which means if you're scared, right? Laughter can make you not scared. If you're if you're if you think of something as very important, laughter can make it not important, right? Um, and maybe we'll find more examples. But so this is what Mesilat Yesharim writes about it, and it blew my mind when I read this. I'm like, wow, 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 wow. Like everyone needs to know this, everyone, because you know, your dress is so ugly, you know, and you could just, people do that. Or people, you know, comedy, right? In comedy, they bring down people a lot. They don't realize
Horrible.
that there is a person behind there, and it doesn't help to laugh. It's still insulting. um, so this is what Mesilat Yesharim, I'm going to read and very quickly. אך השני, הנה הוא קשה מאוד, והוא השחוק והלצון. כי מי שטובע בם, הוא כמי שטובע בים הגדול, שקשה מאוד להימלט ממנו. כי הנה השחוק, הוא מאבד את לב האדם, שכבר אין הטעם והדעה מושלת בו. והרי הוא כשיכור או שוטה, אשר אי אפשר לתת להם עורמה או להנהיגם. So he's saying that even like you're not, you could you won't take other people's words seriously, like oh, you know, like you can't learn from someone when they're laughing at what you're saying. You know, someone can't, if you're laughing at what someone else is saying, you can't learn from them. You're making it nothing. You're making their words not important. אי אפשר לתת להם עורמה או להנהיגם, כי אינם מקבלים הנהגה. והוא מה שאמר שלמה המלך עליו השלום. לשחוק אמרתי, מהולל ולשמחה מה זו עושה. וחכמים זיכרונם לברכה אמרו, שחוק וקלות ראש מרגילים את האדם לערווה. Meaning the just being like sarcastic about everything could bring you to the lowest of the low. And we'll continue to read. We'll continue to read about it a different time, because laughter is so beautiful. Like I remember, you know, I remember when the Iran, when they, how do we say? I was living in Israel during the time where, a long time ago, when America was going to attack Iran or Iraq, I think, and they were threatening Israel with nuclear, and we had to go to school with masks, like those black big masks, like not on. We had to like have a box and have it, and even people died from those masks because there was like a shot, and people like by mistake did it, and it was very scary. And we had to have like a room with like plastic on it, and bottles and cans, and you know, it was like a whole whatever. And as a little kid, I'm walking to school with this and hearing in the background people saying it's the end of the world, it's the end of the world, Iran is gonna this and that. And the anxiety level was very, very high, and I wasn't the type of person to talk with anyone about my anxieties. And then my sister, she was like, oh, let's take pictures with a mask on. Let's go in the room. We'll have a mazkeret. How do we say? Like something to remember. Let's try it on, take pictures. And she made it a whole funny and fun activity. And done. My anxiety was out the window. We took pictures, we put it on. For me to even see the mask was scary. But once we took out the mask, we took pictures, it was funny, it was fun, it took out all the fear. So there is something very powerful about laughter, and it could also be used for the bad. And we're going to see in the story, he continues to use laughter and sarcasm of a way of proving that there is no God. Because once he proved to him that he saw the king and he spoke to the king, he's like, ha 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 ha, fines. That's when sarcasm comes in, because he doesn't have any, not any, anything to run away to anymore. So he has to run away to sarcasm. So we'll get to it more. Thank you so much. Thank you, and have a Shabbat Shalom. And if you have anything to share, I would love to hear by message. I just have to run because I need to pick up my kids. But yeah, thank you.